Fashion design is all about like creating the clothes and like pattern drafting, designing and stuff, and then fashion industry is kind of all behind the scenes, kind of the business side of it. So we kind of do like fashion industry kind of does just like visual merchandising, styling, buying.
I believe the difference between the two fashion courses is that fashion design focuses more on the production of the garments. Like we go into depth about the fabrics, from pattern drafting to sewing, and I feel like fashion industry focuses more on the business side and visual merchandising, styling, and what goes more into fashion industry more than we focus more on like what goes on the runway.
I'm doing fashion design, and we kind of design and create the clothes, like the whole process from coming up with your concepts to making your patterns to having the finished garment coming down the catwalk.
Our course, you can nearly say it's like the business behind fashion, so like everything what goes on behind the scenes, so like styling, buying, merchandising, photography, like literally everything else you can think of other than design is what we would do.
The biggest misconception would be the bitchiness and how sly the industry can be, but it's really not like that at all. It's a really good creative way for people to express themselves. Like obviously there's a lot of competition within the industry, like everyone's kind of competing against each other. There's so many different designers that you have to try and get up to their level or whatever, but I think it's so important that like people actually realise that not everyone in it is there to compete against each other, and people get inspiration off other people.
There's not bitchy people. People are all lovely to work with. It's fun, it's enjoyable.
In terms of who I work with, and in my college, like everyone's so nice because we're the same type of people. Like we're all creative and energetic and enthusiastic in what we do.
People work so hard. They're probably the most driven people out there. You know, you start off at the very beginning, so you might be working as a stylist on a photo shoot, getting very low paid job, and then just working your way up, and it's a very different industry to what people think it is, and it definitely should be more recognised.
Everyone thinks that like, oh, fashion is just kind of like you go around and you look at pretty clothes and there's not much work put into it, when really there's a whole like industry. There's so many different sections. There's, you know, the designers, there's the people who like work behind the scenes, there's the people who organise fashion shows. Like it's a huge production and it's a huge part of today's society.
One of the big misconceptions is that people don't realise how much work it takes to make a garment. Like you just see something on a rail and it's pretty and like, oh, that looks so nice with this particular garment, but like you don't see how much work it takes.
Ever since I was smaller, like all I knew was like dressing up and fashion, and like even my friends would be like to me, Leah, will you come out and help me pick an outfit for a party? Like I just always had such an interest in it. So fashion to me, yeah, basically just it's kind of like who I am.
Fashion means to me confidence. I feel like fashion was one of the first things that made me start to get confident, because when I was younger I was really, really shy, but then I started just wearing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and I just feel like fashion is just confidence to me.
Fashion to me would be like a creative outlet to be myself and express my thoughts in my head into something physical and in reality that everyone else can feed off, and inspire others to be themselves as well.
Using my style was like a way for me to express myself, and even though like I was made feel uncomfortable over the way I dress and stuff, like that still made me feel good, like that I was dressing the way I wanted to dress and being who I wanted to be.
I love wearing good clothes, well finished, tailored clothes, and fashion is all about you looking nice, you know, bringing out the style out for people to see, and when people see, they say, oh, I actually like that, or not, oh, I want that, maybe I'll go and buy the same thing. That's what fashion is all about to me.
My sister also is a seamstress and my two grandmothers were, so I feel like fashion is in the blood a little bit, so it's just always been part of my life.
Coming to the end of my first year of college, I think the meaning of fashion has kind of changed to me. I think it's kind of the mix between like the structure of making clothes and then the creativity and freedom of being able to do what you want.
It's a way of expressing yourself. It's a way of being out there. You can tell a lot by a person the way they dress.
Being comfortable in your own clothes and being comfortable in what you wear. It's literally expressing yourself. You can, each mood you have, different days, like you throw on a bright colour jacket and you look happy.
Mr. Happy, yeah.
Yeah.
I think like creating and actually designing stuff that have come from your actual head and then watching it come to life and being able to see it, say like on a mannequin or see it on a person.
The part of fashion that I like most is actually making and designing. Do you know the joy that comes with it when you finish a garment and you see people wear it and the beauty of it? It actually makes you satisfying.
Taking something and then it coming out to be a completely something so abstract and
It's satisfying,
yeah,
man.
isn't
It's
it?
satisfying the feeling. You're just like, oh, my idea's on that, like it's on a piece of fabric just there, you know.
And then when you get to try on your own actual garment, it's
It's juicy.
just complete.
It's juicy.
Yeah.
I love the styling. I think I love just making a mood board and seeing about trends, because trends come all in roundabouts, and I think styling is definitely something that I would do in the future. And I also love journalism, writing about fashion, and like I love looking at trend reports and fashion history.
Personally, I love visual merchandising. I think that's where my creativity shines the most, and it's just a way of showing your creativity and being individual and allowing other people to like be aware of like this is your style and maybe change people's opinions and ideas on certain things as well.
My favourite part of fashion would be the styling, so putting all the clothes together and seeing what goes with what, and then being able to sit at the front row of a runway and see that those exact clothes that you've styled.
I love merchandising because it's kind of like how you can influence someone to buy something or have a different outlook on something by how you dress a mannequin or how you have a shop floor organised. Like, it's so effective. So that's probably the part that I like the most about the fashion industry.
My favourite part of fashion would have to be the community. I feel like I just love being a part of like such a kind of welcoming and like easygoing community. I just love being able to like bounce my ideas off like other creative people.
In terms of getting into fashion, it would definitely have been people in my family, especially my mum. She like was such a big part in that, and my granny. Like, my granny taught me how to like use a sewing machine and stuff, because she used to always make my mum's clothes.
I have like loads of inspirations. I think like I'm inspired a lot by like obviously big designers like say Alexa Chung or like Donatella Versace.
When I see good styles, I'm always, keeping them because I was like, oh, this is so good. Maybe I'll try this. Maybe next time I'll combine this with another thing. And that's what fashion is all about. You bringing in styles from another people, you adding yours to it and making it new out there.
I think music comes into it, art definitely comes into it. Travel is hugely an influence in fashion, because what you see someone wearing in Paris is chic and effortless, and then what you see someone wearing in Berlin, it might be chill and streetwear kind of. So it's very different in every city.
All that streetwear stuff. I like the South Bronx era in the 70s and up.
Social media on our phones, where I'm looking at what other people are wearing, what the next designer's coming out with. Fast fashion is looks coming straight off the catwalk, straight into shops such as like Zara, H&M, Pennies and stuff that are cheap but non-sustainable kind of clothes.
Fast fashion is basically like people buying for nearly every week rather than every season, and just huge amounts of waste and people wearing things once, and the idea of wearing something and then it's worn, it's seen in a picture, you have to throw it out and move on to something new.
I just feel like the wages are unfair, the prices are unfair, especially for those countries they're being produced from.
Fast fashion is like mass production of clothes in the retail sense. So if you look on websites like Boohoo and Misguided, they overproduce like these €10 dresses that unfortunately are really bad for our environment. Most of the time girls only wear these dresses once or twice. They might get a little hole in them where they might just not want to wear them again. So unfortunately enough, they end up in our landfill, and they're really, really bad for our environment.
Slow fashion is like good quality garments that you're going to have for years, like you're going to invest in them, but it's worth it because you're going to have them for years then.
Once you buy something, you should really love the item. You know, you should be investing in something, not just throwing it away 2 months later. You know, so I definitely think slow fashion is so important, and just to even just have staples in your wardrobe that are, you know, might cost a good bit of money, but you know that you're going to have them 10 years later.
In fast fashion, when you buy something like a top that's €12, that €12 is just going to the retailer, like pretty little thing. None of it is really going to the person that spent time making it.
So fashion is important because it's important for our environment. It's important to get better quality clothing, it's better wages for people.
I'd say slow fashion is timeless fashion if you have like quality pieces that are timeless, and I suppose slow fashion is important because it's sustainable and it's the way forward. If we keep doing what we're doing, then the planet's not going to survive much longer, so we have to take action and do something to change it.
I have like such a bad habit of like buying outfits for nights out and then never wearing them again. So rather than just kind of like throwing them out, I'd kind of either put them on Depop, sell them, or like bring them to charity shops and stuff. So it's kind of like not that you're just kind of getting rid of it.
And like I'd shop in like charity shops and vintage shops, so that obviously like upcycling and donating to charity, and yeah.
I'd say I'll try give away some of my clothes to the less fortunate, and also try work with eco-friendly fabrics.
If I was to start a business, I think I'd definitely look at sustainable fashion and look at like making sure things are environmentally friendly.
I'd like to buy a lot more vintage than I already do, and I'd like to start to know where my clothes come from and buy a lot more natural fibres.
Well, I think people should start investing a little bit more in slow fashion and maybe thinking of getting, like as I said before, their coats, or maybe like a dress that they know they're going to wear a lot of times, made by a designer, or when they go to fast fashion stores, like to sit there and go, am I going to wear that jumper more than 10 or 12 times?
It's just about like knowing where your clothes are coming from, because you'll feel better as well when you buy something that you know that a child hasn't made, or you know that it's coming from like, you know, Ireland or something, so you're supporting Irish businesses.
Be grateful for what they have, you know, instead of just buying so much, like, oh, I want that. Oh,
yeah, you want what you don't need.
I think there's different kind of like projects and initiatives people take part in, like Project 333, where people try use like 33 items for 3 months, and I think things like that are really interesting, and then that kind of like highlights to people that wouldn't usually try and rewear things and relook different outfits.
I think read the tags when they're out shopping as well, or buying online. Reading the tags, seeing what's made in the clothes is most important as well. Other people can buy vintage if that's what they want to do, or I think just like educating yourself is the main thing. So like researching what slow fashion is, how you can help.
People are becoming more aware of the environment, so I think we kind of can be seeing a change in the industry sometime soon, but at the moment we're kind of at that turning point between fast fashion and slow fashion, and people are really making the effort to work towards slow fashion.
Look at the tag mainly. It's just like kind of see what everything's being made out of. Like you don't want things being made out of like polyester and stuff because they're just really bad for the environment. And then also just like supporting new Irish designers I think is really, really important, because you're starting their career out and you're getting really good quality items for yourself and to build up your wardrobe.